everyone! You've all heard of Mulan, right? You know, the fierce warrior who saves all of China. Let's read her story and some other awesome stories.
Hello, kids. Gather round. It's fairy tale time. Today's story goes way back to ancient China. It's the story of Mulan. Once upon a time, a baby girl named Hua Mulan was born. She was a very brave little girl. By the time she was 5 years old, she'd already tamed a tiger, bad kitty, walked on a super high tightrope, and rescued a kitten from a tree. She was so brave, she wasn't even scared of the dark. Well, as long as her nightlight was on. When Mulan was older, but not quite a grown-up, she heard some very bad news. There was going to be a battle, and one man from every family had to go fight the enemy. It was boys only back then. No girls allowed. In Mulan's family, it was just her grandfather, and her baby brother. Mulan looked at her grandpa. He was old, so old. He just did crossword puzzles all day and couldn't hear anything even if you shouted.
Hi, Grandpa.
Huh?
I said, hi.
Huh?
Grandpa's pretty old. He can't hear very well.
Huh? Oh, bye.
Then Mulan looked at her brother. He was so little. He couldn't even ride a horse into battle. They probably didn't even make uniforms in his size. Mulan knew what she had to do. She cut her hair, dressed up in her best fighting outfit, and bravely marched out to join the army. Along the way, she practiced being a boy.
Hello there, mister. Hey, dude.
What's up, bro?
When she reported for duty, nobody seemed to know she was a girl. Probably because she could do so many push-ups and was wicked good at swordplay. No one expected that from a young girl back then. Mulan quickly became the best soldier around. She was feeling pretty cool. And then the big horn sounded. Oh, by the way, that was a sign that the enemy was coming and it was time to fight. But don't be nervous, kids. Mulan was ready. She jumped on her horse and galloped towards the invaders, yelling like this. Yeah! The other soldiers joined in and charged, all yelling Mulan's fierce battle cry.
Yeah!
Yeah! Woo! This scared the socks off the invaders. Seriously, their socks flew right off. I've never seen anything like it. When she got to the general of the enemy army, he was curled up into a ball. He was so scared. He wasn't a very brave general.
Please don't hurt me, sir.
I don't want to hurt you, but you guys gotta go. You're being bullies.
Thank you for your mercy. You're a good man.
Thanks, but I'm an even awesomer girl.
The general was confused, but that's okay. Mulan had won the battle. Later, there was a big celebration to honor the soldiers, especially the brave young person who had saved them all. Mulan wore her prettiest dress and put flowers in her hair. When she accepted her medal, everyone was like,
She's a girl! Awesome!
Then they cheered and sang, for she's a jolly good fellow. For she's a jolly good fellow. For she's a jolly good fellow. For she's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny. And she was. The end.
Hello kids, here we are with another nursery rhyme time. Today's story is about a cookie. You see, there was this woman and she was a baker and she was running out of ideas on how to get kids to buy her delicious cookies. Well, one night she had a dream about a little man who was made of cookie. She woke up at 3:47 in the morning, as bakers usually do, and got to baking. And after hours of trial and error, made a little man out of gingerbread. End of story. Just kidding. That's where the story really begins.
Come here. I need to eat you. You can't eat me! I have so much to live for! I've never gone sailing, I've never had my first kiss, I've never run in a field or been to Paris. There's so much to do!
And with that, he ran out of the house and into the field.
I'm actually doing it! I'm running in a field!
I'm gonna get you, little man!
Run as fast as you can! You can't catch me! I'm the gingerbread man!
And he ran and ran and ran and ran and ran as fast as his little legs could carry him until the old woman baker was out of sight. And then he rested by the river. Well, sleeping by the river was a wolf. Or at least he thought the wolf was sleeping.
She's going to come for you.
I can always run away.
You wouldn't have to run away if you crossed the river.
But I can't. I'm made of gingerbread. I'll get all soggy and fall to pieces.
I was just getting ready to cross the river myself. Why don't you ride on my head? You could hold my ears, see the view, maybe fish a little, I don't know.
And just then, the old woman came into sight in the distance, and the Cookie Man began to panic. Well, the big old wolf hopped into the river and shouted at him,
"Quick, hop on before she gets here!"
The gingerbread man was torn. There was nowhere to run, and so he leaped into the air towards the wolf's head and shouted to the woman,
Run as fast as you can! You can't catch me, I'm the...
Delicious!
I was going to eat that.
He was eaten by the big, bad wolf and spent the rest of his days playing pinochle with Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother in the wolf's stomach. And that's the end of the tale. Hiya, kiddos! It's fairy tale time. Once upon a time, there was a little chicken aptly named Chicken Little. 'Cause, as previously discussed, she was a little chicken. Chicken Little was a wee little hen who was known around the kingdom for her good advice. All the animals would come to her with their problems. Gus Van Goose would ask Chicken Little about his stories when he couldn't come up with a good ending.
How about they all lived happily ever after? Is that good?
Yes, my good goose. That's a good ending.
Lily Lizardson would ask Chicken Little about sunbathing and proper precautions to avoid sun damage.
This will help. Oh my gosh, Chicken Little, thanks so much.
And Turtle Thompson would ask Chicken Little for help when he couldn't think of a rhyme for his raps.
Change the colour of his head to red. Nothing really rhymes with orange.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thanks, Chicken Little.
Chicken Little always had a solution for everything. Well, one day, Chicken Little was eating lunch under a maple tree when a squirrel rushed by with an armful of acorns. And one of these acorns fell and hit Chicken Little right smack dab in the middle of her head. Then the acorn bounced right back up and into a hole in the tree, leaving no evidence that it was ever there in the first place. Chicken Little looked around. She looked up, she looked down, she looked all around, and she couldn't put her finger on what hit her in the head. Well, Chicken Little always had an answer for everything, and so she thought long and hard.
Let's see. I'm sitting under a maple tree, and I happen to know that all maple trees grow seeds that look like tiny little helicopters. So it couldn't have been a seed, and it definitely wasn't a stick. Don't see any robin's eggs anywhere, and there's no kids with slingshots anywhere around. There's only one other thing that's up, and that's the sky. The sky must be falling.
This made Chicken Little very afraid, and there was only one thing to do: tell the king. Chicken Little packed up some of her things in a little bandana, tied it to the end of a stick, threw it over her shoulder, and hit the road.
Honk! Hey, Chickie, where are you going?
I was sitting under this tree here when a piece of the sky fell and hit me right on the head.
Oh my, that must mean... What does that mean?
That means the sky is falling! And I must go tell the king!
Wow, that's scary.
Well, Gus Van Goose was a good goose, one of the best, and so he offered to go with Chicken Little to make sure she got there okay, and delivered the very important news. But they had only travelled a few feet together when...
Hey, girlfriend! Hey, Gus Van Goose! Where are you two guys going?
You haven't heard? The sky is falling, and a big piece fell and almost squashed Chicken Little.
Whoa, that's scary.
That's what I said.
You have to tell the king. That's what I said!
And so, Lily Lizardson joined the two of them on their journey to tell the king the very important news. Well, they only made it about halfway around the lake when...
Hey-oh, Chicky Pie, you look stressed.
Oh my gosh, the sky is falling! A huge piece hit Chicken Little and almost crushed her. And we decided it's so important we have to go tell the king.
Whoa, you're gonna need some protection, girl. That is a long trip. I'll come with you.
And so the four friends traveled to the king, spreading the word as they went. They traveled over the river, through the woods, past Grandmother's house, and all the way to the king's castle. And when they got there, the king was surprised to see them.
What are all of you doing here? Shouldn't you be out in the wild?
Get this, king. The world is ending.
And what proof do you have?
A piece of the sky fell down and almost squashed us.
It fell and hit Chicken Little right here, right smack dab in the middle of the head.
May I see this piece of sky that you speak of?
Yeah. Show him the sky, chicken. Show him what you got.
Well, you see, I don't have it.
Then how do you know it was the sky? It could have been anything.
Well, there was nothing above me except for a tree, and there was nothing on the ground around me after I got hit,
And
I always have an answer for everything, so I thought real hard, and the only thing I could think of was...
That the sky was falling?
Yes, King?
Let me ask you something, Chicken Little. Do you think I always have the answers to everything?
Yes, King, of course.
Well, I don't. It's true. Sometimes things happen and I just don't have any answers as to why. And that's okay. Doesn't mean the sky is falling.
So it's okay to not have the answer sometimes?
It better be. According to the Queen, sometimes when I have the answer, I'm not always right. Sometimes the best thing to do is say, I don't know, but maybe we can figure it out together.
And so the king travelled back with Chicken Little to take a look at the tree that she had been sitting under. And after waiting around for a while, a squirrel came running by and yelled down to them,
Hey, guys, did you see an acorn I dropped yesterday? I got home and counted up my loot and I was one short. I think I might have dropped it around here.
They checked inside the hole in the tree, and there was the missing acorn. The squirrel was happy, and Chicken Little was happy because she learned that the sky was not falling, and that sometimes it's okay to not know all of the answers.
But that's not the end of fairy tale time. Stay tuned to watch The Princess and the Pea.
Hello there, children. Have a seat, or stand. Do what you like. It's Cool School's fairy tale time. Our tale is one of vegetables and princesses. Yes, it's the princess and the pea. Lovely. Once upon a time, there was a very picky prince. His socks had to match his shirt or he wouldn't leave the castle. And he would only eat his peas if they were served with baby carrots and a side of ranch dressing and a pickle. Very particular. His bed pillows had to be fluffed exactly 6 times each before he could even think about going to bed. That little prince grew up, and it was time for him to find a princess and get married. But like always, he was very, very picky.
No, too tall, too short, nostrils are too big. Do you prefer dogs or cats? Wrong! I like hamsters. Next. What do you like on your pizza? Pineapple? Ew! Who do you like better, Spider-Man or the Flash? My Little Pony? Wrong answer. Can you rub your tummy and pat your head at the same time? Next!
Who does he think he is, a prince?
Well, actually, yes. Then, one night, a terrible thunderstorm was raging outside. A girl who said she was a princess but was late because of the rainstorm and a shoe falling off in a puddle and her getting a blister on a big toe. Well, anyway, she came to the castle door.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to bother you, but it's literally raining cats and dogs out there, and I really must change into some dry clothes. Plus, the rain makes my hair like totally frizzy, and I just can't deal with that.
But the prince liked her, because he also didn't like it when his hair got frizzy. He told her to come in, and he quickly asked her the important questions one needs to ask when they're picking out a princess.
What do you like better, cats or dogs?
I prefer hamsters.
What do you like on your pizza?
What? Nothing. That would ruin the pizza.
Spider-Man or the Flash?
Duh, Spider-Man.
And she could totally rub her tummy while patting her head while standing on one foot. Wow. The prince really liked her, but he thought she was too good to be true. He just didn't believe she was actually a real princess. He did what any good prince does when he doesn't know what to do. He asked his mum, the queen. She did a quick check on Google.
Oh yes, the classic pea test.
The queen placed one tiny little green pea underneath the mattress in the guest bedroom. If she's a real princess, then she'd feel the pea and wouldn't be able to sleep. Just to be really extra super duper 100% positively completely sure, the queen added another few mattresses and lots of soft feather mattress toppers and, out of habit, fluffed the pillows 6 times each. That night, the princess could not sleep at all. Perhaps it was the rainstorm outside, or maybe a bad dream, or maybe it was the pea. The next morning when they gathered for breakfast, the young lady couldn't stop yawning.
How did you sleep, my dear?
Well, the room was lovely, and the pillows were like perfectly fluffed. But there was this huge bump like right in the middle of my back. It was terrible. I thought it was a huge rock, and it kept me tossing and turning all night. Well, I did some digging, and I found this. A pea!
A pea, you say? I quite love peas.
Oh, so do I. But only with baby carrots and a little ranch dip on the side. Maybe a pickle.
Mom, it's her. She's the one. The perfect princess.
The girl was not only a total princess, she turned out to have a megaton in common with the prince. They were both very picky, but they were very picky about all the same things, so they had to get married. Everyone at the wedding agreed they were a perfect pair. Well, not that kind of pair. Anyway, they were just like peas and carrots. With a little ranch dip, of course. Kind of a fairy tale ending, don't you think? Nursery rhyme time here. Who's excited? You are? Huh? So am I. I have this mouse living with me. His name's Winston. Say hi, Winston. Hello. And Winston, he's a little mouse. He's tiny, right? And he gets frightened, scared by things, loud things. So the other night, we're hanging out, I'm watching TV, Hickory Dickory Dock, and he goes all the way up to the top of my grandfather clock. And what happens? Well, it was very late, past midnight, and the clock strikes 1, and down he run. He got frightened. Poor Winston. Sum it all up, here we go. Hickory Dickory Dock, the mouse, Winston, ran up the clock. Clock struck 1, down he run. Hickory, a Dickory Dock. That's great. It's a little rhyme. I threw it together. It's actually famous. It's nursery rhyme time. Oh, remember this fella? Yes? The spider? Who's Itsy and also Bitsy. And you remember how he climbed up the water spout? Well, it's time for an update on Mr. Bitsy. Over the past few months, he's been working out, see? Training for the spider marathon, working those legs, all 8 of them. He's been doing push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, and also running a lot. And when the big race day came, he had been practicing a whole bunch and figured he was ready. But when he saw the competition, it was 3 daddy longlegs, who are spiders with very tall legs. He was worried. Of course he was worried. Look at him. But there was no time to think. The hairy tarantula referee fired the starting pistol and they were off. At first, he didn't even try. How could he possibly beat these tall daddy longlegs? But then, because his legs were so short, and because he was so itsy and so very, very bitsy, our hero found he could step much faster than the daddy longlegs. It was a close call, but the Itsy Bitsy Spider won the race!
I did it! I won!
Moral of the story, even though you're small, you still have the power to accomplish great things. Sum it all up in a rhyme. The Itsy Bitsy Spider was training for a race. He trained really hard until he was blue in the face. He began to worry because the others were so tall, but the Itsy Bitsy Spider won the race after all because he believed in himself. And that's important to remember. Believing in oneself. You should try it. It's nice. Alright kids, bring it in. Here we are. Nursery rhymes. This story is about Mother Hubbard and, well, actually her poor dog. He didn't eat much. He was just lean. He liked to exercise, get out, stretch his legs, run in the park, chase things like squirrels. Anyway, she thinks, I'm going to do something nice. I'm going to give my dog, whose name was Albertson, a bone. He likes bones. He's a dog. Of course he does. She goes to the cupboard where she keeps the bones, and when she gets to the cupboard, it's bare. They're flat out of dog treats. And so Albertson, the poor little dog, had none. Sounds kind of sad. It's not. I'll tell you why. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her poor doggy a bone. But when she went there, the cupboard was bare. And so her poor doggy had none. But don't worry, she had her grandkids coming later that day, and they brought plenty of bones for Albertson. So much that he didn't even know what to do with them. And he was happy. Alright kids, few thoughts. I've eaten some spicy pickles and had some interesting dreams. Few things I thought about doing those dreams, right? Hey, diddle diddle, right? Cat and a fiddle. Funny thing to think about. Cat playing a violin. Then a cow jumping over a moon. It's pretty high, low gravity. Then there's a little dog, right? He's looking up at the moon. He's like, haha, that's funny. A dish, right? There's a plate now. He runs away with a spoon. Not a fork, not a knife. One's prickly, one's sharp. No, he wants something a little thin at the bottom, but a big head, right? It's a spoon, isn't it? All right, summing things up then. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. Cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon. So, no lesson there, just random things happening in a landscape of funny things. Enjoy it. Soak it in. Alright, here we are. Nursery rhyme time. Okay, children? This guy Jack, right? I know him. Great guy. Kind of nimble. Really quick. He's this sort of like bouncing on your toes kind of guy. He decides, oh, here I am. I'm Jack. I'm so nimble. I'm so quick. I'm gonna jump right over that candlestick. And he did. It was pretty fantastic. But if he would have just jumped a little higher, he wouldn't have caught his pants on fire. Ow, 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 hot, hot, hot. Oh man, he's took us up for a burn.
That was a bad idea.
To sum it all up then, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Right? Jack jump over the candlestick, but if he would have jumped a little bit higher, he wouldn't have caught his pants on fire. Oh, look at it burn. He's gonna get down to his trousers.
Hey, Billy Bob.
Yeah, Zeke?
Did you hear about Sam MacDonald?
Old man MacDonald?
Yeah, Old MacDonald. I heard he bought a farm.
He did? What kind of farm?
Well, let me tell you about it.
MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a cow, E-I-E-I-O. With a moo-moo here, and a moo-moo there, here a moo, there a moo, everywhere moo-moo. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a chicken, E-I-E-I-O. With a cluck, cluck here and a cluck, cluck there, here a cluck, there a cluck, everywhere cluck, cluck. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a goat, E-I-E-I-O. With a mat here and a mat there, here a mat, there a mat, everywhere mat, mat. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a, what did he have? I think he had a dog. Yeah, that's right. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a dog, E-I-E-I-O. With a ruff, ruff here and a ruff, ruff there, here a ruff, there a ruff, everywhere ruff, ruff. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a horse, E-I-E-I-O. With a neigh here and a neigh there, here a neigh, there a neigh, everywhere neigh, neigh. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a, what did we miss? Oh, that's right, he had a pig, didn't he? Well, old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a pig, E-I-E-I-O. With an oink oink here and an oink oink there. Here an oink, there an oink, everywhere. Oink oink, old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O, let's go! MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
Hello, boys and girls. It's nursery rhyme time. Ooh, I'm never so excited. This nursery rhyme is about a little boy named Georgie. Well, you may know him as Georgie Porgie. Georgie lived with his mum and dad on top of their very own bakery. Mum, by the way, is British for Mom. So if you're feeling kind of British, just call your mom Mum. So Georgie's mum would get up early every morning to wake Georgie.
Wakey, wakey, sleepyhead. Oh, it's that time already.
And she would go to the kitchen and start baking yummy cakes, puddings, and pies. Every day, Georgie's mum would pack a slice of apple pie into Georgie's lunchbox. Georgie definitely had what you would call a sweet life.
Thanks, Mum. You're the best.
But one day, Georgie's mum accidentally filled Georgie's pie with the fish she had made for his dad's lunch. Uh-oh! During lunch, Georgie was so hungry, he didn't think anything of the fish pie. In fact, he thought it tasted quite good. He was really hungry.
Ooh, this is quite tasty. Nice to have something savory for a change.
He thought to himself. But the smell of Georgie's fish breath was not a very pleasant one. In fact, it was extra double stinky. So stinky that when it was time to play in the schoolyard, all the other kids ran away from him. Then one little girl was standing by herself looking lonely, so Georgie decided to give her a kiss. That didn't go over too well.
Ew! You smell like a can of cat food.
Poor Georgie was so embarrassed. He was just trying to be nice. When the other boys joined in to play, Georgie ran all the way home so he could brush his teeth. So, boys and girls, the moral of the story is, don't kiss anyone after you've had a plate of fish. The end. And now for the nursery rhyme part. Georgie Porgie, pudding and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgie ran away.
See ya! Bye-bye!
Here it is, nursery rhyme time. This here is Peter.
Hey!
His last name? Piper. We know this because he plays the pipe. Well, it's more like a tin penny whistle, but that's beside the point. When he's not playing instruments, he likes to work in his mother's garden. But here's something else. He loves peppers. Little peppers, big peppers, sweet peppers, pepperoni pizza, and even very spicy peppers. But his all-time knock-it-out-of-the-park favourite is, you guessed it, pickled peppers. I know, not the most delicious thing, but hey, who am I to say anything about what people like? I like pickled eggs. So, to sum it all up in a tricky, trippy tongue twister, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. But if Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, then how many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? Oh dear, we may never know. But if I had to guess, I'd say 8.
Too spicy, I need water.
How about I give you a glass of water if you can say the tongue twister?
Peter Pepper picked a peck of...
Okay, fine.
Ah, boy, that was one spicy pepper.
It's about time for the nursery rhyme. Isn't that sublime? Guy named Jack, right? Not the beanstalk type, not the nimble one, just regular old Jack, and he's with his fiancée, Jill. Jack's thirsty, he grabs a pail, and he goes, I'm going to the well. So he spots it up at the top of the hill. Doesn't make sense for it to be on a hill, because he'd have to dig it much deeper. But anyway, he and his fiancée run up the hill to fetch themselves a bucket of water, but Jack, he's running too fast, and he falls, and he breaks his crown. Forgot to mention, Jack's a prince. And you know what? Jill, running just as fast, tumbles after. Sum it all up, bring it in. Jack and Jill ran up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. And they rolled all the way down the hill, ended up in the gully, and they found another well, and they drank from that one. All right, kids, gather up, take a sit, cross your legs. It's nursery rhyme time. There's only 4 things up on the North Pole: Santa Claus, elves, reindeer, and a polar bear named Stephen. He's not important, not part of the story. Anyway, we're talking about the reindeer. They're like regular deer, but with big old tree sticks growing out their heads. Rudolph, he was a reindeer, right? Bit different. He had a red nose. You might even say it glows, right? If you detached it, you could put it on the roof of a car, maybe. Make it a cop car, an ambulance. And all the other reindeer, they have these games. They wouldn't let Rudolph play. Hey, Rudolph, you stay over there. You're not good enough because your nose is red, right? Really mean. And then it's Christmas Eve and it's foggy. And Santa Claus gets this idea, right? He thinks to himself, ho, 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 how am I going to see? I don't know, no. So he gets an idea. He goes, hey, I know that one reindeer, right? He's a bit different. He's got a nose, it glows, right? Let's have him in front. His nose was bright enough to shine through the fog. You know what the other reindeer thought? Oh, wow, that's helpful. Good thing we're not going to fly into a wall now. He's our chap. Buy him a pint of milk. It all worked out. Sum it all up. Rudolph, he was red-nosed reindeer, had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you'd even say it glows. Or the other reindeer used to laugh, right? Call him names. They never let poor Rudolph play in their reindeer games, which are like the Olympics. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you drive my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. So, technically, this is a history lesson. Sorry, Mr. Hister. It's my territory now. It's a nursery rhyme, because it rhymes. Hello, children. It's time for nursery rhyme. Hey, what's that flying overhead? It's all crooked like. Certainly not a bird. No, birds fly in a straight line. And certainly not a butterfly. Those only come out in the daytime, and they're much prettier. I know. I know. It must be a bat. Let's call out to him and see if we can trick him into living inside my hat. That's funny. Yeah. All right, here it goes. Shh. All right. Bat.
Yeah? What is it?
How are you this fine night?
I'm doing fine. What do you want?
I've got a proposition. I want you to come and live with me.
Live with you? Where?
In my hat.
And why would I do that? Come and live underneath your hat.
I'll give you a slice of bacon.
Is that all?
Do you like baked goods like cookies and cakes and stuff?
Well, of course I do. Who doesn't?
Well then, I'll give you a cake whenever I happen to be baking. How's that sound?
Well, it sounds pretty good, actually.
Hooray! It worked!
Oh, hey, it's nice in here.
Let's seal the deal by rhyming about it. Bat, come under my hat. I'll give you a slice of bacon. And when I bake, I'll give you a cake if I'm not mistaken. Wow. I've a new roommate, and he's a bat. I wonder if I'll have to sleep upside down.
Hi there, boys and girls. It's folktale time at Cool School. This one is called The Great Race. You ready? Okay, on your mark, get set, let's go! Legend has it that once upon a time, many years ago, in ancient China, there was a rat.
That's me!
Not just any rat. This rat was the worst swimmer in the world.
Hey, the cat's a bad swimmer too.
That's true. There was also a cat who couldn't swim.
Give me a break. Everybody knows cats don't like water.
Also true. Nevertheless, there was to be a great race across the river, and so the cat and the rat were just gonna have to get wet. See, the Jade Emperor, the guy who pretty much ruled everything, had called a meeting of the animals. The Emperor was going to honor the first 12 animals to get across the river with their very own year.
Picture that, the year of the rat. Got a nice ring to it.
I prefer year of the cat.
Okay, let's skip ahead to the day of the big race. So many animals were there. There was a rabbit, a goat, a pig, a rooster, a snake, a horse, a dog, a monkey, a tiger, an ox, and a flying dragon. The cat and the rat knew they didn't stand a chance, so they hatched a clever plan to hitch a ride on another animal. The dog was the fastest swimmer, but the cat and the dog fought like, well, cat and dogs, so that wouldn't work. The flying dragon could get them there, but the rat was afraid of heights. Finally, they settled on the ox. The ox was fast, strong, and the cat and the rat knew they would trick him.
Hey Ox, you wanna hear us sing a song?
Yeah, I love music.
Did you like it?
Gee guys, I couldn't hear it.
Well, let us hop on your back and we'll sing it into your ear.
Okay.
The cat and the rat hopped onto the ox's back just as the race began. Their plan was working.
On your mark, get set, go! Can you hear us now?
No.
Now?
What about now?
Nope, but I do hear a thumping sound.
It was a rabbit. The rabbit was hopping across the river from stone to stone.
Ah! Hurry, Ox!
But then the rabbit missed the stone and instead landed on a floating log.
Ha-ha! Bye-bye, rabbit!
Then they saw the tiger coming up behind them. Then the dragon. Then the horse.
Giddy up, Ox! Yeah! Yeah!
Weird that I can hear that, not your song, right?
Yeah, life's a mystery. Keep swimming.
Poor sweet ox. The cat and the rat were not being very nice. Meanwhile, 3 totally very nice animals, the goat, the rooster, and the monkey, were still on shore trying to figure out how they could get across the river. Not one of them could swim. Just as they were about to give up, the rooster spotted a raft. The 3 of them pulled it to the river, hopped in, and worked together to make it across. They even offered a ride to the dog, but she said,
"No, thank you."
But you're way behind. You'll lose.
Please, I'm like the fastest swimmer ever. I'll be fine.
Then they saw the pig on a raft having a snack.
What? I got hungry.
I guess they never read The Tortoise and the Hare.
On the other side of the river, the ox was just about to cross the finish line when that rascally rat pushed the cat into the water. No! And then jumped onto the shore, running past the ox to win the race. And so, the year of the rat officially became a thing. The ox crossed next, then the tiger, and the rabbit, followed by the flying dragon.
Ha-ha! I beat the dragon? I'm the best! Nobody beats me!
The dragon explained that she had seen the little rabbit floating in the wrong direction and had stopped to help him.
Well done, dragon! I am honored to name the 6th year after you. Yeah, but I got first place. Did you know that, dragon?
Next, the horse and snake made it across the river, followed by the rooster, monkey, and a goat in their little raft.
Bravo! I love teamwork. Teamwork, schmeamwork. I'm the real champion.
After the pig and dog finally crossed the finish line, the Jade Emperor invited all the animals into his palace for a party. The rat stayed behind a moment because he wanted to make a grand entrance like this. But before he could, he heard a familiar meow.
Meow. Remember me?
Uh-oh.
Is this their song? I don't think I like it.
The cat and the rat fought all night, while the rest of the animals had an awesome time celebrating with the Jade Emperor. To this day, people still celebrate the 12 animals of the Chinese Zodiac. Oh yeah, and cats and rats still don't get along. The end.
Hello, kids. Hi, welcome. Nursery rhymes. So we're at this place, right? Old man's house, and it's raining. It's absolutely pouring rain. And this old man, right? He's snoring away. Earlier that night, went to the kitchen, had a snack first. Thought, I'm gonna have something great. Bumped his head, and he didn't wake up in the morning. Sum it all up, put it all together. It's raining, it's pouring. The old man, he's snoring. He went to bed, but bumped his head, and couldn't wake up in the morning. But you know what? There's a reason he didn't wake up in the morning. It's because it was Saturday, and he wanted to sleep in. So he woke up in the afternoon.
Hi kids, it's time for a brand new nursery rhyme. Where? Here at Cool School, naturally. It's nursery rhyme time. This one is about a bunny. Perhaps you've heard of him. Little Bunny Foo Foo? Well, Little Bunny Foo Foo was a bopper. He just loved to bop things. He was always bebopping and scatting and skiddly-booping all over town. To him, everything was a drum. He'd beat on the kitchen table. He'd drum on the bus. Little Bunny Foo Foo would even bop in school. One day, Little Bunny Foo Foo was hopping through the forest, and he started to think of a beat. Ba-doo-bop-ba-dee-bop-bop-bop-ba-doo-bop, wow! He looked around for something to drum. He saw the perfect thing, 5 little field mice in a group, each a different height, just like a drum set. He sat down, said hello, and then started bopping them on their heads.
Hey, what's the big idea? Quit bopping our heads.
But Little Bunny Foo Foo was lost in the rhythm and he just kept bopping. So the good fairy of the forest, yes, that's a thing, didn't you know? Every forest has a good fairy who watches over the trees and animals. Anyway, the good fairy swooped down and said,
Little Bunny Foo Foo, I do not want you bopping these field mice on the head. I'll give you 3 chances to behave, and if you don't, I'll turn you into a goose.
A goose? Yeah, right.
And he bebopped out of the forest. But the next day, he hopped right back. He saw the field mice, but just barely as they were trying to hide behind some flowers. Little Bunny Foo Foo hopped over, scooped them up, and bopped them on their heads. He even put 2 bottle caps on the littlest one's head, so he sounded like a cymbal.
Boop-a-dee-bop-bop-ba-da-bop-ba-da-bop. I'm not a drum. Hey, that hurts my little mouse head.
So down came the good fairy, and she said,
Little Bunny Foo Foo, I told you not to bop these mice on the head. I'll give you 2 more chances to behave, and if you don't, I'll turn you into a goose. I mean it.
The next day, same thing. Foo Foo came a-hoppin' and a-boppin'. Boys and girls, the good fairy was losing her patience.
Little Bunny Foo Foo, I said do not bop these poor little field mice on the head. 1 more strike, and then you're out. Straight to Goose City.
But Little Bunny Foo Foo just didn't listen. All he heard was, and. You probably saw this coming, but on the 3rd day, Little Bunny Foo Foo went hopping through the forest, scooping up the field mice and bopping them on the head.
Ahem. Really? You're still hopping through my forest, scooping up field mice and bopping them on the head. I gave you a chance, but now I must turn you into a goose.
And poof! Little Bunny Foo Foo was turned into a goose. Honk. But that's okay, boys and girls, because now he could play drums and trumpet. Well, he just made the trumpet sounds with his new bird beak, but he was good. So good, in fact, that the field mice and even the good fairy went to all his gigs. So, it's actually a happy ending. Smashing!
Hello, boys and girls, ready for nursery rhyme? Well, you've come to the right place, because it's time for nursery rhyme time. Take a seat, pay attention. Very good, let's begin. Here's Mary Mary. Yes, her name was so nice, they named her twice. Hello, Mary Mary.
Hello.
Today we're visiting a very beautiful English garden. This is a very special garden. And who happens to take care of it? Yes, that's right. Mary Mary, the girl you just met.
That's me.
Yes, the girl I graciously introduced you to. Now, in this garden, there are no flowers.
I guess I've got no business being here.
There are no tomatoes, no prized lettuces or carrots. No carrots! That makes me very unhappy. Instead, in Mary Mary's garden, she has silver bells the size of pumpkins, and she loves to ring them every day.
Enough with the bells!
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why don't you grow vegetables like everyone else?
Oh, Mary Mary's quite contrary. Yes, she's a little bit different. Mary Mary also has cockle shells in her peculiar garden. Cockle shells, you say? Yes, a mound of cockle shells to remind her of the pebbled beaches of Cape Cod.
Ouch. Ooh, ow. Ooh, what a lovely shell. Ooh, ouch.
And instead of gardeners to keep her garden nice and tidy, Mary Mary has maids.
You missed a spot.
Oh, that Mary Mary. So, Mary Mary is quite different. She has an acquired taste in her gardening style, but that's what makes Mary Mary quite contrary. And that, boys and girls, is rather quite lovely indeed. And now for the rhyming part. Mary Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells.
Hey, how you doing?
And pretty maids all in a row. Hope you enjoyed this nursery rhyme. Until next time.
Gather round, it's nursery rhyme time. Today, we're going to learn about our friend Mary. There she is. And Mary had an unusual pet. That's right, it's her little lamb. As expected, he's right behind her. Because, quite honestly, Mary's little lamb follows her everywhere she goes. Maybe you've heard about it in a song? Mary had a little lamb. I would keep singing, but it's not really in my range. I'm more of a baritone. Prefer opera, some jazz, really. But moving on, this little lamb would follow Mary everywhere she went. It followed her to the movies. It followed her to town while she ran errands. It followed her when she sold cookies door to door. It even followed her when she went skiing. Wait a minute, where's the little lamb? I don't see it, do you? Oh, there it is. Hard to find. It seemed the little lamb's fleece was white as snow. Made him blend into the landscape a bit. Oh, look, there's little Bo Peep. Hello, Bo. What's that? Oh, dear. She's lost her sheep skiing as well. But that's not because her fleece was white as snow. That's because little Bo Peep's sheep are naughty, and they've gone over to the expert slope, even though I happen to know they ought to be on the bunny slope. But look at them go! Adventurous lot, those sheep. Alright, back to Mary and her little lamb. It followed her to school one day, even though the school had just announced a very strict no lambs policy. That didn't stop Mary's little lamb. He wore a disguise and walked right in. Smart little lammy. All the children laughed with delight when they saw the lamb in that costume, until the principal came in and said,
You're not fooling me! No lambs allowed in my school!
But no matter, the lamb just waited outside until school was over. And then Mary and all her friends came out and they played, and they pranced, and sang, in a rhyming fashion. The song went like this. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. He followed her to school one day. That was against the rule. It made the children laugh and play to see the lamb at school. And so the teacher turned it out, but still it lingered near, and waited patiently about, till Mary did appear. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. So there you have it, kids. If you love your little lamb, and you occasionally take it skiing,
It will follow you forever. Should probably feed it too. I believe some grass would do just fine. Perhaps a flower or two as well. The end.
Now for another nursery rhyme time update. Little Bo Peep, she's lost her sheep, and she doesn't know where they are. Maybe they're on a hill, eating some grass. Maybe they're down in a valley, rolling down a hill. Maybe they're up on the top of a bridge. Maybe they're climbing a mountain. Maybe they went to the North Pole looking for Santa Claus. Maybe they're at the bottom of the ocean with Ron and Octavio. Maybe they're in science class with Professor Science. Maybe they're in the library listening to stories with Miss Booksy. We just don't know the facts. But here's an idea. Leave them alone. Just leave them. Maybe they went on an adventure. Who knows? Let them go. Let them have a good time. They're adults. They know what they're doing. And they'll probably come back wagging their tails. Sum all of that craziness up into a rhyme. Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them. But leave them alone and they'll come home, wagging their tails behind them. Because sheep like to go on vacation. They're adults. They can do what they want. All right, kids. Have a seat in a chair or a couch. It's fairy tale time. Once upon a time. No specific time, just once. There was this girl who was trapped under a nasty spell by a nasty witch. Her name was Rapunzel. Anyway, this witch wanted to keep Rapunzel forever and ever and never share her with anyone else because Rapunzel was so sweet and so perfect. So, in addition to keeping her in a massive tower, the witch cursed her with very, very long hair. Hair that grew almost 2 feet every day. And all that hair weighed so much that Rapunzel absolutely couldn't leave. All she could do was hang around and solve jigsaw puzzles. Well, one day a handsome prince came looking for her and he called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, what's up?"
I could use a little help up here.
"Throw down your hair, princess. I will save you." And so he climbed up Rapunzel's hair, used some of it to tie up the nasty, nasty witch, and then used a bow and arrow to shoot the end of the hair down to a tree to create a zip line and zip line the girl to safety. Once they were safe, the prince gave her a chocolate kiss, which not only broke the spell and made her a princess, but also made her start square dancing. And that is how Rapunzel was saved. The end. Oh, and the witch. She got stuck in the tower by herself, solving jigsaw puzzles forever. The end. For real this time.
It's nursery rhyme time. And oh no, look at that. It's raining. Oh, bummer. Oh. We've got a poem for that, haven't we? We've got a poem for everything, don't we? Here it goes. Rain, rain, because we're speaking to the rain. Might not have ears to listen, but we're going to speak anyway. Let it know where to go. Tell it to go away. But not forever. It can come again another day. Just not today, because, well, maybe we have baseball practice. Or maybe an outdoor ballet recital. Or maybe it's Little Boy Blue's birthday. Oh no! The old woman's moved from a shoe into a pair of galoshes. Ooh, looks like Humpty's wall's a bit too slippery. Itsy Bitsy wants another go at that water spout. Maybe Jack Be Nimble's candle's gone out. Or maybe, just maybe, little Arthur here just wants to go out and play. That's right. And so we say, rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. Little Arthur wants to play.
Rain, rain, go away. And maybe it will. Just maybe. If we're lucky. It's time for a nursery rhyme. This one is about a kid, very small, named Jack Horner. And he likes pies. What kid doesn't like pies? I didn't, except for ice cream pie. But this one's about mincemeat pie. And so this boy, he's sitting over in the corner of a restaurant, orders a pie. Waiter brings it, says, "Here you go, here's your pie." Thanks for the pie. So he's eating his pie, right? And he gets this idea. I'm gonna take my thumb, I'm gonna stick it right in the middle of the pie. And when he pulls it out, it's got a big old plum on it. And he says, "Boy, I'm a good boy." And he eats the plum. I don't get it, but here it is in a rhyme. Little Jack Horner sat in the corner, eating a mincemeat pie, which are delicious. He stuck in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." And he finished his pie. All right, kids, time for a crooked little nursery rhyme. So we've got this man, and he's all crooked. He's all bent over one way, his leg going the other. Ow! My back! And he walks in a really crooked manner, right? And he finds a crooked penny. It's all bent, kind of misshapen, looks like someone hit it with a freight train or a hammer. Where does he find it? He finds it against this crooked stile, which is kind of like a gate through a fence. And what's he do with that penny? Well, he goes to a very, very, very cheap pet store and buys a crooked cat. His legs are all different lengths and he walks all janky, and his tail goes in a zigzag like a lightning bolt. And what do you think that cat did? It caught a crooked mouse. That's right, a mouse with a zigzag tail. But he didn't eat the mouse. He brought him in, said, "This is my pal Henry. He's a mouse. He's gonna live with us here in this house," which, if you haven't guessed, was crooked. Here we are. Bring it together, rhyming style. There was a crooked man who walked a crooked mile. He found a crooked penny against a crooked stile. He bought a crooked cat, which caught a crooked mouse, and they all lived together in a crooked little house. Hello kids, I'm your narrator, and I'm here with a nursery rhyme time emergency. We're looking for the little boy who looks after the sheep. Has anyone seen him? Have you? I haven't. Supposed to show up today, supposed to watch the sheep and the cow. They're all over the place. You, boy, in the blue, come here. We need your horn. Yes, bring your trumpet.
It's a French horn.
Oh, French horn. That's great. That's perfect for calling sheep and cows. Come here. We need you to blow your horn because the sheep who are supposed to be in their pen are out in the meadow, and the cow has gotten right into the corn. They're gonna eat everything. There's a reason we keep them pinned up. It's because they can't control their eating habits. And while you're doing that, blowing the trumpet, oh, French horn, sorry. While you're doing that, we're gonna look for the little boy who's supposed to look after the sheep. Wait a second. Is that haystack moving? Ah, I knew it. He's under the haystack and he's sleeping. How irresponsible. All right, well, in order to get it all packaged up nice, let's rhyme about it. Little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow and the cow's in the corn. Where's the boy who looks after the sheep? He's under the haystack, fast asleep. And he's in for a rude awakening, 'cause he had a responsibility. Silly boy. Hello kids, it's bath time on nursery rhyme time. Don't worry, no one's getting wet. This one is actually a bathtub boat. That's right, and who's in it? Well, you need to eat when you're out at sea, So we've got a butcher, right? He'll be able to provide all the meat and food that we need. But meat's great. What do you put it on? How are we gonna make sandwiches without a baker? Right? Oh, hey, look, a baker. He just happened to be in the tub as well. How are we gonna see when it gets to be nighttime? I know, candlestick maker. There we are, we've got a butcher, we've got a candlestick maker, and we've got a baker. So we've got our food, and we've got our light, and we're surrounded by water because they're all going out into the ocean. Sum it all up in a rhyming manner. Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub. And who do you think they'd be? The butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, all set out to sea.
Once, a very long time ago, there was a big, beautiful pond at which all the animals played. There were squirrels, raccoons, and mice, chipmunks and baby bears, and all sorts of creatures. But more than any of them, there were birds. There were geese and ducks, robins and bluebirds, chickadees and eagles, and of course, the most beautiful of them all, the swans. Every year around the same time, all the animals would gather and they would bring all their little babies so they would get a chance to play together. This particular year, there was a little bird named Milton whose egg got mixed up in the wrong bunch. When he hatched, he didn't look like any of the other ducklings. In fact, he looked very different. Well, as the spring turned into summer, all the little animals started to change. They began to grow into very active little birds who liked to get into trouble. And they would make fun of Milton.
You're so ugly, even a turkey wouldn't be your friend.
Well, all this being made fun of didn't feel so good to Milton. Every time he tried to play dodgeball with the duck babies, they'd all get him out first, even the duckies from his own team. And every time he tried swimming with the swan babies, they'd swim so fast that Milton would be left behind. And every time he tried gabbing with the goose babies, they just giggle about Milton until he went away. He didn't seem to fit in anywhere, and it wasn't like he was really ugly. He was just a little different. Well, summer came to an end and all the babies learned to fly, except Milton, for his wings were far too short.
Just another thing I'm not good at,
he thought, as he watched the geese, ducks, robins, bluebirds, chickadees, and eagles leave their summer home.
I guess I'll just stay here and freeze all winter,
he thought as the swans flew beautifully into the air. Milton sulked as he watched the squirrels, raccoons and mice, chipmunks and baby bears all slip into the woods for their hibernation. The days got shorter and air got colder and the pond froze over. Milton found a small cave among the rocks and climbed inside, where he spent the winter alone, wishing that in the spring none of the birds would return. But spring came, and so did the birds. All the little babies have grown up, and they were all calling out for Milton.
I bet he's uglier than ever.
I bet he's so ugly that he ran away and he'll never come back. And they laughed and laughed and laughed until they heard a rustling behind them. And out of the cave down by the rocks came the most magnificent bird that they have ever seen. Turquoise and yellow and black, colors everywhere. He was even more beautiful than the flock of swans. Milton was the most beautiful bird in the land because Milton was a peacock.
Hello, kids, wee little children, small people who will grow into big people one day. It's nursery rhyme time. Today, we're looking at this very elderly fellow.
Hello.
An older chap, jolly though. Before this old man was an old man, he was a math teacher, and he loved numbers. You know, 1, 2, 3, big numbers, small numbers, musical numbers. If it had to do with numbers, and especially counting numbers, he was happy. Downright thrilled, actually. Man loved his numbers. Well now, in his old age, this man has devoted his life to playing knick-knack, which is, all things considered, simply playing drums with spoons on the counter while waiting for your mom to bring in supper or the like. Sometimes he likes to play 1 beat, and sometimes he likes to play 10. But he's always counting as he does it. Here's an example. He played 1 on his thumb.
1.
2 on his shoe.
1, 2.
3 on his knee,
1, 2, 3.
and 4 on his door.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And after each one, he gives his dog a bone. That's right, a treat for old Rover. A poodle, I believe. Good-looking pooch. Must be all the extra bone treats he's getting. Good for his calcium levels. Back to business. This old man, he played 5 on a hive. Of bees, I might add.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Could have been dangerous, but luckily, bees are afraid of poodles. This old man played 6 on a pile of sticks, which actually sounded like a xylophone. It was quite nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
7 up in heaven.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And then he came back down here and played 8 on my gate, of all places.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
He didn't chip the paint, so I was okay with it, but he should have asked.
Sorry.
He also played 9 up and down a vine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And on 10, he did it all over again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And this old man, he was so famous for doing this over and over, all over town, that there was even a song written about it. And it went something like this.
This old man, he plays 1, he plays knick-knack on my drum. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 2, he plays knick-knack on the shoe. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 3, he plays knick-knack on the tree. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 4, he plays knick-knack on the door. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 5, he plays knick-knack on the high. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 6, he plays knick-knack on the stick. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 7, he plays knick-knack up in heaven. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 8, he plays knick-knack on the gate. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home.